What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the ANS podcast. That's the Arm Bars and Suplexes podcast. I am your host, Alec Miller. You can find me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. And I'm joined, as always, by my main man, the genius of combat sports that I'm probably the closest one that I have, and that is Jesus. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? That's a little too much. I'm just a lay person that loves to watch combat sports and has been watching for a while. You can you can follow me on Twitter at The Real Jesus, and that's spelled JEEZUS as always. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Had a pretty good weekend. Watching the fight card that everyone was poo-pooing. Everyone was poo-pooing the main event.
Why were they poo-pooing?
They were saying because they wanted TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen. And trust me, I get it. I wanted that fight too because I wanted to watch Corey Sandhagen knock out Dillashaw in 3 rounds. But we didn't get that because, I'm gonna do the Vittori thing. He got hurt on purpose. TJ Dillashaw got hurt on purpose. He busted his eye open. No, I'm just kidding. I understand why people were looking down on this main event because it's not what they wanted. But I think we got a great main event regardless. We had a really good co-main event with a young up-and-comer putting his kind of stamp and saying that he's here, which was fun. Houston's own Alex Morono, so that was good. And when I saw the main event, I was like, this is gonna be a good fight card, a good fight because the Karate Hottie always puts on a show. She never disappoints. She might not get the win, but she always puts up a great fight. Marina Rodriguez is an absolute beast. So I knew it was going to be a good fight regardless of the result, whichever way we wanted it to go. And also, we got Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders, BJ Saunders, and that also did not disappoint. Probably, besides Triple G, the guy who kind of maybe said, let Canelo know, like, hey, I'm here, but then, then he got punched out.
I mean, you're spitting facts, man, on all counts. I think you did miss one big factor this past weekend. And this is not my factor. I'm just going off what I see on Twitter. I'm involved in the MMA community. But apparently the Venom fight kits, they got to give props to the Venom fight kits in the last fight. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what it is. But that was definitely a factor in the fight. So
what could you possibly be talking about?
I have no idea, man. I just repeat what I see, man. That's all I'm saying.
We keep it PG here, man. Come on.
Absolutely.
Yes, but no. I mean, all jokes aside, the Venom fight kits are sick. Like I like them a lot. I don't think we've mentioned them here. Like they're nice.
Yeah, they're a lot better. Some people don't like them. Some people say that they're just kind of the same thing. But I see differences. I see also I've heard fighters say that they're a lot more comfortable. They're more for fighters, basically made for fighters by fighters. And Venom's been around a long time, man. So I definitely felt that they were going to do better for the fighters, and from what it sounds like they have. So I like them. I definitely like them.
All right, yeah, for sure, man. I think the major consensus has been that they like them. I mean, there's probably there's always gonna be haters somewhere.
Can't make everybody happy, man.
Yeah, it's not possible. But just a quick update, just to give one. Yordan Alvarez hit a home run. We're destroying the Angels. It's always fun when we destroy the Angels. It's a lot of fun.
We've been having a lot of fun against the Angels this year.
Yeah. So before we get into the fight cards, let's go ahead and get into what are you watching. I don't have a TV show because I'm just kind of rewatching stuff. But I do have a movie that I kind of want to rant on, but you go ahead and go first with what are you watching?
What am I watching this week? I've been watching, and I forgot to mention it to you. This is a 3rd or 4th week in a row because it comes out every Sunday. It's The Mayor of Easttown. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's on HBO, and it is a crime drama detective story. And the main character is Kate, played by Kate Winslet, and she does a great job. She's a detective, and there's some backstory there. She's divorced, and her mother lives with her, and she has an autistic grandkid. It's a lot going on, and in the middle of all of it is young girls are getting killed in their little town. This is the I guess you walk into the second one, and then there's a third one that happens. and they're trying to figure it out, but you don't know if it's the same person or different people or what's going on with it. So it's pretty good, man. It's pretty compelling. Pretty cool stories. Pretty cool.
What was the name of it again? I wanna add it on my HBO Max so I don't forget it.
Mare, Mare of
Mare.
Of Easttown.
Mare.
Yeah, did it come up?
Yep, yes it did. I love me some Kate Winslet. So
yeah, and it's completely different for her from what I've seen her. It's just, and it has some pretty good actors in there. Nothing too over the top, nothing like bad. It's pretty good, and it kept getting better. And we've been watching it. My wife and I have been watching it, so definitely a change of pace for what I watch. But it's really good as far as shows go. So I recommend it. All right. And for movie, man, I've been wanting to watch this movie for a long time. I haven't finished watching it. I'm 2/3 of the way through it, but it's good to me. The movie Freaky. Have you heard of the movie Freaky?
Wait. Yes, the one with Vince Vaughn.
Yes, the one with Vince Vaughn. I have to
watch that. Yes, I want to see that.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's different. It's obviously a little, it's not really slapstick, but it's just, it turns it on its head, man. And it does have some gore in it. It's the basic, story of switching bodies, but this time you switch a body with the serial killer. So it just opens it up, and it's really interesting too, the thought process behind it and how it works from a character standpoint. So I really like it, man. I think Vince Vaughn did a pretty good job. I'm 2/3 of the way through it. Obviously, there's some things that aren't that great. It's just camp. Some stuff is campy, but I think the whole concept is campy. So it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. So I definitely liked it. I'm recommending it, even though I'm only 2/3 of the way through. I just hope it doesn't fall flat on the last part.
Okay. I personally love camp in my horror films. I love it. If you don't like camp, you can't really be a horror fan, because they all have that. I like the elevated horror, quote unquote, but
the camp. I think the camp is like where it originated, man. Kind of like where it started, and like you said, you do have to have that a little bit for horror films. And this one is right there, man. It straddles the edge on it. I'm being like too serious and being campy, and it's kind of fun. It's really fun.
All right, sounds good. All right, so not really any TV shows for me. Kind of just rewatching stuff. I'm actually watching. I'm actually in the episodes that I've never seen of Supernatural, which is season 11. I've been on record saying that Supernatural should have ended at season 6, but it's either season 5 or season 6. Probably should have ended there, but I understand why it didn't. But it's getting good. It has its moments. I think that Dean and Sam are two very highly, like, just kind of they're toxic. They're not good for each other, which is weird because they're brothers, but their relationship is extremely toxic. Dean is not a good person. Sam has his days where he can be, but he's not really sometimes. It's very weird because these people, you're cheering for these people, and really the only, like, the character I truly cheer for in the show just got killed off. So it's like, and that is Felicia Day's character of the show. I don't know if you know who Felicia Day is. Red hair, quirky girl.
Yeah. I've seen her before. Where else have I seen her, man?
Oh man, The Guild. Did you ever watch The Guild?
I just know she's famous. I just don't know where I've seen her.
I know, like, as soon as you see her, you'll know.
Like, I'm gonna be in that.
I'm actually gonna look up because she's in some good big stuff. I just can't remember for the life of me. Felicia Day, but she's great. I mean, she's quirky, she's funny, and in the show, she's good. She's just as funny. Let's see, The Guild. Yes, she's not in as many things as I thought she was. Come on, IMDb yourself. But anyways, yeah, I mean, the show is good. I think it went on for way too long. They're literally getting to the point where in this season, the villain is the Darkness, which is supposed to be like God's sister and stuff. Because eventually we're going to get God. Oh, she's in Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. Did you ever see that movie?
Nope.
Supernatural. Yeah, she's probably someone that when you see her, you'll recognize her, but she's not anything like noteworthy where you're like, oh, yeah, that's the movie with Felicia Day, or that's the TV show with Felicia Day. It's more like, oh yeah, I've seen her around type stuff. So, but it's a good show. I mean, it's cool. So for the movie, I actually watched 3 movies, and I watched the Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks trilogy. So I watched all 3, which is, if you don't know, it's Joe versus the Volcano, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail. So
I haven't seen the first one, but I've seen the other 2.
So I had seen You've Got Mail like years ago, and I was like, this movie's boring. I was like, I don't really care for this movie. But out of all 3 of them, the one I thought I was gonna hate the most, I ended up liking the most, which is Joe versus the Volcano. It's ridiculous. It's silly. Meg Ryan plays 3 characters, and you have no idea what's going on with this. It's ridiculous. It's just like balls to the wall, kind of funny, and it has its moments where it can be serious, but it's not. It doesn't take itself seriously, so I enjoyed it. So that's the one I put above that. On a second rewatch, I'll put You've Got Mail at number 2 because I did enjoy it a little more. Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks are charming together. I can't deny that. But Sleepless in Seattle, this movie is the worst. I hate this movie. I just had no enjoyment. It took me like 3 days to watch it because I just didn't care to keep watching. I didn't get the whole point of it. It was like this woman falls in love with this man because she heard him one time on a fucking radio show. It's
driving
ridiculous.
Or something, right?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
3-run home run.
Yeah, Chaz McCormick, awesome. But yeah, I didn't understand it. And my question is, why is Meg Ryan in these movies always in love with someone else, or always with someone else, but she's like stepping out on her relationships? It's like so messed up. Like it's not romantic. She's not a good person. Like it's ridiculous.
As you know, before there was different standards that people were held to, and they bled through and into our movie watching experiences. And then on top of that, Meg Ryan just has this thing where she can play that role very well. and
she's charming. I will admit that.
And she just plays it very well, man. And then she was America's sweetheart at one point. No. I mean, I can still, see her, shadow boxing, talking about taking it to the mattresses or whatever, and then saying FOX with the little kid. Like, it's just, she has something where it makes the movie just a little bit better. I haven't seen Joe versus Volcano or what have you. I didn't even know about it. I mean,
it's worth the watch. It's on Tubi, so like Tubi is like a free streaming thing. You can download.
I have it on free. Roku.
It's like nothing that you need to like see, but if like you were like sitting down bored and you're like, oh, Joe versus Volcano, like it's a good watch. Yeah. It's nothing crazy. Young. I think that's the first one between them was Joe versus the Volcano.
Probably,
I believe that was like early, like maybe like late 80s, early 90s. Because then Sleepless in Seattle was like beginning of the 90s. Mm-hmm. And then You've Got Mail was like 1996, I think. Yeah. 96
or 97.
Yeah.
And I also go back to watch You've Got Mail because Dave Chappelle comes on in You've Got Mail.
He's great.
So, yeah.
Greg Kinnear's pretty good in the movie too.
Yeah, he's all right.
He plays the guy. Like that's like the one where it's like, because Bill Pullman was the one in Sleepless in Seattle, and it was kind of weird. But because he was just kind of okay with her going all the way to Seattle to try to find this dude, but with Greg Kinnear, like they were adults about it. Mm-hmm. Like he mentioned like, oh, I don't love you, and she was like, oh, I don't either, and like, oh, okay, like great, like you be good, I'll be good, like have a great time. And she started telling him about the guy that she was messaging, and he was like, well, I hope that works out. Like he was like an adult about it. It was kind of cool. And also he knew about the Godfather thing too. That was a great scene. It's a great scene. Why are all men obsessed with the Godfather?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, dude, there's so many movies that you could say that about. Like now it's The Departed maybe, or The Town. I don't even know. One of those.
Probably there's some Wolf of Wall Street ones too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street might be the one that's like that.
Yeah, so man, but I mean, it's pretty good. And it's also, I feel like it captures kind of that beginning email, time frame, and kind of how it was back in the day when you would email people and wait for it, and it was just different. It's a different time. So I've always I've always liked that movie, man. I've always liked that movie. It's nothing
It's
like
fun.
you said. It's nothing like great or anything, but it's just a fun movie, like you said. And I've
Yeah.
never liked Sleeping in Seattle, by the way.
All right, cool. So yeah, next week I will have a 3-piece of Stephen King for you. So
Okay, which ones?
I just rewatched The Mist. I love that movie. I've seen that movie probably like 1,000,000 times.
Man, that
It gets
movie's so
better every
good.
time I watch it. Yeah, it gets better every time I watch it. I think now that I have a kid, it hurt a little more.
Mhm, yeah.
It's like, oh no.
What would you do? What would you do?
Dude, so there's a theory about that. Have you heard the theory about the end of that movie?
No, what's the
So
theory?
like, because when you leave the movie, you think, oh, like if he would have just waited a little bit longer. But the theory is that Mrs. Carmody was right, and that when saying that the only way to end this was to sacrifice the child, because as soon as he does that, the mist lifts and all that. So they're saying like maybe that was what actually had to happen, but obviously I would never want to do that. But at the same time, I get it. Like you get the choice. You're like, I don't want him to suffer. The part that hurt me was when he woke up, like right before he did it, and he was like, "Dad, like that." I think if he would have woken up, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But like, I totally understood when he was like, when he put it in his mouth and was like pressing it, and it wouldn't go, and you're just like, dude, all he wants to do right now is just hope that there's an extra bullet in there.
Yeah,
I understood it. But The Mist, I'm gonna rewatch the original Pet Sematary.
Good.
And I think there's one. I'm gonna pick one more Stephen King movie. I haven't chosen yet.
Pick a off the bean path one, man. Like either Thinner or what's the other one? The one with the maximum overdrive. What's it called? Is that one?
Oh, the one with Emilio Estevez.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that.
With the big rigs.
Yeah, when the machines come, when the vehicles come to life.
Yeah, dude,
that'll be one to check out. I'll see. I'll let you know for sure.
Yeah,
because I'm going based off of movies that are asked in the Schmodown. Because I'm trying to get trying to fill in my holes and then also re-up on things I haven't seen in a while. So that's mostly what I'm doing. But just fun because it's fun. Like my girlfriend's like, "Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "Oh, what was asked in the Schmodown?" You never know when it might come up in my trivia things or whatever. So
yeah,
that's it.
Man, I've been wanting to do a rewatch of the X-Files, man.
Ooh, you should.
I've been wanting to do X-Files, but I've also heard that it doesn't hold up as well. But I want to do it because I never watched it linear. Like I bounced back and forth even when it was on, and then I watched the movies, and I just want to watch it straight through. That's what I want to do. So I'm debating doing it and committing the time to it, but we'll see.
That'll be a good rewatch for sure. All right, man. You want to go ahead and get into Canelo versus BJ Saunders? Go ahead and so I'll go ahead and give my thoughts because I'm not really the boxing fan, but I did watch this because this is an event, as you've mentioned before we got on. Canelo is a worldwide product now. He was a guy. He is a guy that when he's fighting, the entire world stops. Yep. The entire world stops. They watch his fights, and he never fails to show up and put on a show. Even with the Triple G fights, like even though we didn't get a knockout in either fight, they definitely delivered both fights. So this is one that you told me about BJ Saunders, basically saying that he was complaining about the size of the ring and that he was threatening to put the fight off, and it's just weak sauce all around. And as soon as you texted me that, I was like, weak. Like, that's so weak. Like, come on, man. Yeah. Like, so I didn't really care about this guy. I wanted to see him get knocked out. But I missed the first round. Second round, Canelo's really like kind of teeing off on him, is hitting him, but they don't seem to be clean shots. There seem to be like glancing blows. Saunders has a pretty decent head movement. The interesting thing that I saw though is he fights a lot with his hands down. He doesn't really pick his hands up. He puts his hands down a lot, but when he was putting his hands down, he was kind of having his best success. Probably some of the most like success that I've seen against Canelo since Triple G in that second fight, first fight as well, but second fight as well. Probably having some of the most success, winning a couple rounds, and then gets clocked, and I mean clocked in his eye. And at the end of was it not round 9 or 10? 8. Okay, so it's going into the 9th round.
Going into the 9th round.
So he He gets clocked. You could see it totally threw him off. He couldn't open his eye. The eye was completely shut. They go to the corner, and they're doing their thing, and I see Canelo get up and like kind of like getting the crowd going, and all of a sudden the ref's calling for the bell. And I'm just like, what the hell happened? And then we hear later that Saunders refused to get off of the chair, refused to get out of his corner. Wasn't the doctor stoppage really? It was just he knew. He must have known. You said he knew he was going to get knocked out, and now he find out. No, he probably knew his eye was messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was a crazy fight, but the man wins. Seems like he already called his shot at the end of the in the press conference. Already calling for his next fight, and that's one thing I love about Canelo, man. He's always working. He's always grinding. It's like he's never satisfied. He's like the opposite of what Mayweather was. Mayweather was eventually it was just kind of like done. He just wanted to reach 50 and that was it. But Canelo seems like I want everything. I want to fight everybody. I want to beat everybody. And it's beautiful to see in the sport of boxing because that's what we haven't had in boxing for a while.
Yeah, man. I mean, a little bit of background. So I grew up initially watching boxing as my first combat sport love. This is something my dad, kind of introduced me to. He loves boxing, and I grew up with Roy Jones Jr., Winky Wright, Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, Maromero Pais. Like, there's just a bunch of boxers that I grew up with, and I loved watching them fight and watching them, really do the sweet science. It's beautiful. The sport of boxing is beautiful. And then I got into MMA, and it took over for me, but because of how broken boxing is to me and how broken their whole system is of champions and champions and champions. You can be a million champions in the same division, and I just hate that. I like having one guy or at least a list of guys that are really close, but they're not champion. That this guy's a champion and they're all trying to get there,
Yeah.
And that's what we have with the UFC. And that's why I'm so happy for it. And I like it, even though it has so many downfalls, it's still better than where boxing's at. But at the very top of boxing, the cream of the crop, you have great fighters, and you mentioned about Canelo, and there's so many superlatives to talk about Canelo and his career and where he's at. And I also want to preface this, with saying, Canelo takes on all comers, and he's fighting at 168 pounds, which is not his ideal weight. His ideal weight is probably 154, 150, maybe 160. But he's going all the way up because he's chasing history. He wants to be the lineal champ at 168. The only guy left is Caleb Plant. So when you talked about the fight, Canelo is so it's on a different level, man. It's like on a different level of all the fighters out there right now. And I think this also kind of showed that where BJ Saunders is he's a bigger guy. You can tell the difference in the height and the shoulders really too. But Canelo's a big dude too. But he's faster, or he's as fast maybe, and he's just smarter. He's just a smarter, more technical fighter. And all he was doing, and he said this, Canelo said this, and his trainer said this before the fight, that the fight in this fight is not going to start until the 6th or 7th round for him. That's when he felt that he was going to start teeing off in the 6th or 7th round, because BJ Saunders does pose problems, man. He's not a scrub by any stretch. He's a champion. And he's fast, and he's a southpaw. So southpaws normally give Canelo problems. The thing about Saunders that's so frustrating is he's kind of a jackass. To put it, he's undefeated. He hadn't tasted a loss, so he doesn't know how to act, and he just thinks he was better than everybody, and he didn't understand the beast that he was going in there with. And I think that was his mistake. When you talked about putting his hands down, he had to do that to gain speed on Canelo and hold him at bay, but he was leaving him open. And Canelo was just, downloading the data, and he kept bending over when he was doing certain punches. And I told you, I think I messaged you, he committed to that punch, and that's a mistake, man. Like, you at this level, man, with these boxers, you can't make. First of all, you can't make any mistake, much less that was a big mistake where you overcommit and you get off balance. And that's exactly what he did. Canelo took advantage. And as soon as that punch was thrown, Canelo was already, dodging it and already coming back full power and he knew where his head was going to be at, because for the first 8 rounds he kept bending over. He kept bending over after the punch. And it landed square on his orbital socket, and he crushed his orbital socket, man. The type of orbital fracture that he has, I forgot what it's called, but basically there's 4 places where your orbital socket attaches to your skull, and he broke all 4 of those. So he completely detached, and he couldn't see. So and his eyes could open, but when he opened it, he couldn't see. So his dad, I think, is in his corner, is the one who called the fight. There was nothing for him left, man. I mean, he would have gotten knocked out for sure, or he got more damage and probably lost his eye. And even at this point, his I told you, anytime somebody has a orbit fracture in combat sports, it's hard to come back from, because they don't heal back to at least 100% what they used to be.
Yeah.
I always talk about Margarito. Shane Mosley broke his orbital socket, and after that, his orbital socket kept breaking almost every fight that he had, and he almost lost his eyesight. And he had I think he did lose some of his eyesight. So what I'm saying is, Saunders really didn't respect the game of boxing. There's this video out there now. About a year ago, he was talking mess about Daniel Dubois, who quit on his stool, and he says that he wouldn't have done that. He could have 2 broken eye sockets and a broken jaw, and you'd have to carry him out on the stretcher. Well, karma comes around, man, and Canelo broke his orbital, and he didn't get Clint carried out on a stretcher. He just quit on a stool. So it's just a bad look for Saunders. For Canelo, it's another notch on his belt, another feather in his cap. He wants Caleb Plant now. I'll tell you right now, Caleb Plant has nothing for Canelo. Canelo's gonna walk through that, man, and it's crazy to say, it's the fight game, but Canelo's so good right now, man. He's at his peak. He's at his peak, physical powers, at his peak athletically. He doesn't get hit a lot. He knows how to get people out of there. He knows the game already, and I don't see anybody really right now that can touch him. One thing at the press conference, there's this fighter named I think his nickname is Boo Andrade. I forgot his first name, but he's coming up, and Canelo wanted to fight him last year, and they're making a big deal about it. So Canelo moved on because he doesn't need to wait for anybody. He's the A side in any fight, and he was at the press conference trying to drum up a fight with Canelo, and Canelo said, "You're not getting the fight, man. You had the fight. You're not going to get it. You're a horrible fighter. You just want a payday. I don't need to fight you." And there's not really anybody else. The only people that are left are Caleb Plant and another fight with Triple G. And if Caleb Plant doesn't accept all the bad things, the ring size, the low pay, which is still more than he's ever gotten paid for a fight, Canelo move on to Triple G, and I'm sure Triple G will want that fight to try to get a victory over him. And at this point, Triple G is not the same that he was before. So there's really nothing to challenge Canelo right now, man, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, man, it's always it's always nice to have a dominant guy, in one division. But when they clean out everybody, like, there's really not much else for them to do except walk into the sunset and just kind of call it a career. And because you cleaned out everybody. It's the problem that we're having with Amanda Nunes right now in the UFC. It's the problem that was happening with Khabib. It sucks, but at the same time, it's nice. It's always fun to watch greatness at any level. And I think Canelo has shown and proven that he is going to go down as an all-time great in the fight game. I hope that we get the Triple G fight again. But like you said, I had Canelo in that first fight. I didn't have in that first draw that was called a draw. I had Canelo in that first fight, and then had Canelo in the second fight. It's like, if it's gonna go that way, what else is there?
Yeah, and this is a much lesser version of Triple G that he would be fighting. So
better version of Canelo.
Exactly. So I don't see a lot there, man. I mean, they'll probably make it to make money. It'll sell a lot. I know it will. It's not bad. Like I can't even get mad at it, because I can't say, oh well, he's ducking this person. He's never ducked anybody. He's not gonna duck anybody. But I'm just saying, like, there's no better fight out there for him that would excite me at all. So whoever he fights at this point, I really don't care. Like, I just want to see greatness. and see him, kind of play with his food basically, because there's
It's the
nobody
Mike
out
Tyson
there.
effect. It's kind of the Mike Tyson effect, where it's like Mike Tyson was just eating everybody. Like and you knew the fight wasn't going to last very long, but you wanted to see Mike Tyson knock somebody out.
Yeah, man, and the thing about it too is like, yeah, Mike Tyson, knocked a lot of people out. His first 19 fights ended by knockout in the first round. First 19 fights, do think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And but he wasn't fighting the caliber that Canelo's fighting, man. Canelo has Sugar Shane Mosley on his belt. He has Miguel Cotto. He has Josecito Lopez. He has Sergey Kovalev. He just has so many champions and ex-champions and potential Hall of Famers that he didn't duck anybody. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody. He fought Mayweather when Mayweather was in his prime, and he wasn't in his prime.
He's a baby,
and he still gave him trouble, man. And he still probably hit him, if not the hardest, probably the second or third hardest he's ever been hit. And that's Mayweather getting hit.
Mm-hmm.
And Mayweather didn't want anything to do with him. That's why he fought him so early, because he knew that what he was going to grow into. And he called him. Mayweather said it in multiple interviews. He knew how good Canelo was going to be, and that he was going to be the guy to take the spotlight when he left. And that's exactly what he's done, man. It's a show anytime he comes on, man. If you guys don't know who Canelo is, you guys only watch MMA or what have you, watch a Canelo fight, go back and watch some Canelo fights. He's just a master at his craft, man. And next time he fights, go watch a master fight, man, because it's something awesome.
Absolutely. And I mean, that debate comes up after every Canelo fight. It's always, well, what would happen if they ran it back with Floyd? I told my brother he would knock him out. Like, he'd knock out Floyd.
Yeah, I think at this point, and I don't know, man, Floyd's pushing that fight with Jake Paul now, which is ridiculous.
Logan Paul.
Or Logan Paul, whoever it is. I don't even know. What are the
You're gonna watch it.
No, I'm not. I didn't watch the last one either, man, with Ben Askren. I just watched the highlights. But at this point, man, it's I really feel, and I've been kind of coming to this conclusion that Canelo's prime self is a better version than Mayweather's prime self, if that makes any sense.
He pushed himself more, though. I mean, he pushed himself. He went out of his comfort zone to fight people that he probably honestly, he, at the time that he fought Floyd, he probably had no place he shouldn't have been there. But Floyd gave him the opportunity, and it only made him a better fighter.
Yeah,
Floyd didn't do that. Floyd did the safe fights. He fought everyone he fought people either past their prime or haven't hit their prime yet.
Yeah,
that's what he did. I
feel like a good analogy is it's like putting Trevor Lawrence against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That's kind of, and I'm not. Yeah, it's not fair. Like, it's just it's not. Trevor Lawrence is good, and he'll probably have a couple touchdowns or what have you, a couple good plays maybe, but you're not gonna beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, man. And a rookie is definitely not gonna be. And I think that's kind of. And but does Trevor, or maybe put it backwards? Maybe put it like what's his name?
Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes and Brady, with Mahomes being a rookie. Yeah, he's gonna claw and fight, because we know now what Mahomes is, but back then we didn't. But like how good he is, or how good he could be at then. But he's still gonna lose to Brady. But now is Mahomes this Mahomes as good or better than Brady in Brady's prime? You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what it was with Canelo and Mayweather. And the other thing too, man, like, I hate Mayweather off the ring, outside of the ring, but Mayweather's a beast inside of it, man. His defensive skills, his fight IQ are ridiculous. But then you also got to give him credit for understanding that Canelo was going to beat him if he let him fight him in his prime, and just being smart and say, I'm just going to fight him right now when he's not as good, and I'm just going to beat him. And then that's boxing. It. And so you got to give him credit from a business standpoint. He's curated his fight, his opponents very well, and it made him a crap ton of money. Yeah,
I mean, I would never take that away from Mayweather. He's a student of the game. Like you could say what you want about him. He's entitled. He's brash. He's all these things, but he knows boxing. He always known boxing. That he was doing that his entire life. So I mean, never take anything away. But I think this man Canelo is proving why he's going to go down as an all-time great. And like I said, we're not really watching now. Unlike with Mayweather, where people were buying Mayweather fights because they wanted to see Mayweather lose. They didn't want to see Mayweather fight. They didn't want to see that. There were the few, but they didn't want to see Mayweather fight. People buy Canelo fights because they want to see Canelo fight. Like that's plain. That's all it is. It's not, oh, I want to see him lose. I think he's gonna lose, or like he's gonna get what was coming to him. Like, no, it's just they want to see, like, man, why wouldn't I? It's a Saturday night. I'm not doing anything. Like, call up a few people. Let's come over to the house and barbecue some stuff, and let's watch Canelo knock somebody out in the 9th or the 10th round. It's just a good time for everybody. Yeah,
man, definitely a good time. Again, if you guys haven't seen them, go back and watch him, man. Master at work. It's just beautiful to watch, man.
Absolutely. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into this UFC card. Rodriguez versus Wattson. A very quickly put together fight that ended up delivering. I know they technically fought at flyweight, but this completely has stakes in the strawweight division. Let's not get it twisted. This isn't a Mayweather versus not Mayweather, a McGregor versus Cerrone at 170. Because McGregor beats him at 170, he deserves a title shot at 155. That's not how this worked. This was completely different because it was a put together fight that they called up both women, and they knew. And the thing is, they mentioned this fight was already in the works. They just kind of fast tracked it. They're like, we're gonna put it at the main event now because we need y'all. Can y'all? They probably asked them, can you go 115? And they both probably said no. We need more time. So okay, how about 125? Yeah, we can do that. Cool. And they did it. And to me, it 100% has consequences in the rankings for 115 because both women they did what Dana loves, and that's jumping in at the last minute, taking over a fight, and not only that, but also delivering. And this is the second time Watterson's done this, where she's come in last minute and said, I can do 5 rounds easy, and did 5 rounds and knocked it out the park. Marina too, man. Marina showed out. But we'll go ahead and look at the prelims a little bit. Once again, I watched all the prelims. Don't remember too much about them. So the first fight you didn't check this out, but it was a fairly quick submission. Carlston Harris submitted Christian Aguilera. It was pretty fast. Nothing really to write home about. Just impressive I always think a first round submission is always going to be impressive.
Oh, hold on. That was the was that the Von Flu that you talked about? No. It was the Anaconda.
Yeah, the Anaconda. It was sick, man. It was nasty. Yeah. Thank you. I totally forgot it was an Anaconda. It was nasty. Beautiful though. It was fun because
he put him to sleep.
Yeah, and because he didn't tap out. He went out. They say tap, nap, or snap, and he decided to nap. But it was impressive. Christian Aguilera was doing everything he could to get out of it, but Carlston Harris had it locked in. So good win by Carlston Harris. The next fight we had Jun Young Park and Tafan Nchukwi. So this was a majority decision, I believe, because one guy called it no, there were points taken away. Sorry. Points were taken away because Nchukwi hit Jun Young Park a few times in the groin, in the area of which no man wants to be kicked in. But at the same time, Jun Young Park was kind of dominating. Nchukwi couldn't figure out what to do with him. He did make Park go away from his original game plan, which was to take him down. And Nchukwi quickly shut that down, said that's not going to happen, and ended up turning to a stand-up game. But Jun Young Park, by all intents and purposes, kind of dominated the fight. So a big win there for Mr. Staph infection on the chest.
Oh, my God, dude, that was horrible.
Is that why? So my question is, why did they let him fight with that staph infection on his chest?
I have no idea, man. The only thing I can think of is he had a T-shirt on when they were checking him, and that does happen sometimes. But no doctor should have approved him to fight because he could spread that staph infection all over the mat. And staph is bad, man. I mean, Kevin Randall. Yeah, dude. Kevin Randleman had that ugly picture where it was a hole on his chest where staff just is disgusting. That's what I'm saying, man. Like it's just disgusting. And I know he needs the money. That's probably why he's fighting, but it just is bad. It's bad, you know.
Get that taken care of. All right, next fight. A pretty close fight in the featherweight. Ludovic Klein versus Michael Trizano. Ludovic Klein, his debut, he did very well in the first round, but the second and the third round kind of went to Trizano because Trizano was starting to land things on Klein and hurt him. So that's why they gave it to Trizano. But I do understand if some people had it for Klein. But two very, very exciting guys that I would like to see fight again. Not each other, but see them fight somebody else in the near future. So keep a lookout for those guys. But let's get to the main card. A 6-fight main card?
Yeah, 6-fight main card.
6-fight main card. That's always fun to see. Middleweight, Philip Hawes and Kyle Dawkins. My thing about Philip Hawes, he's got to start faster. Oh, man, he's got to start faster because he was losing that first round. He lost that first round handedly, but was able to come back and get the win.
He almost lost that second round because he was hurt. He was hurt in the second round too. But yeah, man, he's been on the radar for a while as a prospect. Does need to start faster, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, he started slow because he's had gas tank issues in the past, and I think that Kyle Dawkins was expecting him to slow down, and he didn't, and that's kind of what that was the story of the fight. He didn't slow down. Hawes kept coming, taking him down, and he just grinded out a win. Yeah, and
and that shows improvement on Philip Hawes' side of knowing what your weakness is, that you gas out quickly. So he made the adjustments and didn't gas out, and like you said, it's probably surprised Kyle Dawkins. But Kyle Dawkins is a good prospect too. These are two guys to look out for. It's just when you plan for something and it doesn't go your way, if you can't adjust, then you can't adjust. It hurts you when you can't adjust your game plan. So good win from Philip Hawes. Nice little grinded out win. But let's go ahead and get to this lightweight fight, this exciting fight. Gregor Gillespie making his return after getting absolutely flatlined by Kevin Lee in his last fight. Coming against Diego Ferreira, who, he jumped up to the top because he beat Anthony Pettis out of nowhere. Guy came out of nowhere, beats Anthony Pettis on that Conor McGregor fight card, and now has a fight against a top 15 guy in Gregor Gillespie. First round, great first round. And I think Ferreira did a great job of neutralizing Gregor Gillespie. But like we said before, there's levels to this. And Gregor Gillespie showed why he is above Diego Ferreira, because he looked absolutely exhausted at the end of that first round. And the fact that you can look that exhausted. Good.
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah, he was really exhausted. He didn't make weight, man. Ferreira didn't make weight.
Hold on, man. Sorry, I'm gonna have to back out and come back in. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back because my internet is messing up.
All right.
So give me 1 second.
Okay. About the last fight night that was supposed to be Sanghanger versus Dillashaw. We're on the second fight of the main card. That's 6 fights deep. Carlos Diego Ferreira versus Gregor Gillespie. Gregor Gillespie coming off almost 2-year hiatus, I guess you can call it, after he got beat up by Kevin Lee and put to sleep and earned his first loss. So it's pretty big fight to come back to against a pretty big opponent, and also a pretty big opponent as far as just weight. He didn't make weight. I think he was over by 5 pounds, and so he got 30% of the purse. So pretty interesting fight. We'll talk a little bit more about it when Alec gets back in here.
I'm back.
All right, man.
Works. All right, go ahead. So I was saying Gillespie, they both look exhausted, but Gillespie looked exhausted too. So I was like, uh-oh, what's going to happen? And then Gregor Gillespie comes out and just absolutely ragdolls Ferreira and is able to get the choke.
Yeah, it was a choke, I think. No, it was a KO. It was a TKO. It was a TKO.
Oh, it's TKO. Yeah.
Yeah, the ref
flattened him out.
He just wasn't defending anymore.
Yeah, Fajeda.
Yeah.
He quit.
Yeah, he was exhausted, like you said, man. And can you hear you a little bit?
All right, guys. So it seems like it wasn't on my end. It might be on Jesus' end. So we're hoping to get him back as soon as possible. Let me just reach out to him, make sure he's good. All right, looks like he's back. He's back.
Man. Sorry about that.
So maybe it was both of ours.
I think it was.
All right, so yeah, exhaustion. It can be an asshole sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. You know, getting tired makes cowards of fighters. And Fajeda came in 5 pounds overweight, so he didn't make weight. Gillespie got 30% of his purse because of it. And then, I mean, this just goes to show you, one, he was exhausted after the first 5 rounds, man. I feel like he wasn't really training hard, or he was injured and he couldn't train hard. I mean, I don't want to say that he wasn't training hard. Probably he was injured. But yeah, man, he got exhausted and fell off a cliff, and Gillespie took advantage. Big win, a big fight for Gillespie 2 years after getting beat up by Kevin Lee and earning his first loss. I think you saw that a little bit, you know, pouring out whenever he won. I think he ended up, you know, sobbing a little bit, and he talked about it was a very, very fresh and refreshing interview from Gillespie, you know, kind of talking to the truth and talking about how, you know, he's very confident in the cage, but him just being real about can you hear me?
You're breaking up, man. It's pretty bad right now. I'll probably try and log out again. Yeah,
You there?
All right. Yeah, you're here now.
All right, sorry about that, man. I think it's mine.
It's all good, man. It happens. I heard our internet was getting pretty bad too up here, so no issue. The weather is kind of crazy. It's super windy. It kind of sucks. So it's affecting everybody's Wi-Fi, I think. No biggie. But yeah, like you said, you're mentioning Gillespie's interview. He sounded a lot more like he was locked in. Now, he did have an issue before he got knocked out by Kevin Lee, and that was nobody wanted to fight him. Will he have that same issue going forward? Because he is a lot different than the other top guys at the top. He's a wrestler. He's gonna wrestle the hell out of you. He is he's a backpack, like you said. I think you've described him like that before. He will just ride your back until he can grind out a win. And he's tough as hell, man. Because like you said, he was exhausted in that first round. The fact that he was able to put in another gear and do what he did, and basically the exact same pace that he went in the first round is insane to me. Like that was the part that I was most impressed by, because I honestly thought, I was like, oh man, I think he's gonna get knocked out at the end of this round, because he looked like he didn't even want to get up and go to his corner at the end of the first round. But dude came out and with the same energy that he had in the first round and just able to outwork Fajeda.
Yeah, dude, and wrestlers are like that, man. Wrestlers have an extra gear sometimes when they panic or they get worried or scared or something, man. They just put on another gear. I think they'll want to fight him. I think people have seen him get knocked out and they said, oh, I could do the same thing. Also, he didn't have the greatest first round. You know, I think he was getting beat up a little bit in there. So people can say, okay, well, if I can just do that for 3 rounds, I'll get the win on him. But it's different, man, when you get in there. You know, when you get in there and you got a guy taking you down consistently, and you might get up a couple times, but he's going to keep coming and he's not going to be tired. You know, he might look tired, but if you give him a minute to rest, he's going to come back and the same thing in the second round. So I don't know, man, he's interesting. He's really interesting. I had high hopes for him. You know, I think we talked about it that I was glad he got knocked out because, you know, he was a MAGA guy. I'm sure he still is. But there's still people. He's still a person. And, you know, him being that open kind of didn't make me a fan, but I just respect him and I want to see him fight. And he's a good.
Having issues again.
You there?
Right. Yeah, you're good. All right.
I can.
So yeah,
I can see. I can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, because you're kind of like you're choppy in terms of your picture and your videos. I can hear you, but it's like, again, it's still choppy.
Let me see.
Yeah, Wi-Fi is the worst. It's like, I feel like I when we move into the new place, I'm gonna have to like plug into it just to make sure I have connection, because it's crazy, man.
Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It's messing up right now.
It is.
Oh. I can hear you, man, but my internet's messing up.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, man.
It was perfectly fine during the Canelo talk, but since we get into UFC talk, it slows down.
No. I know.
Some dead air, guys. Some dead air going on. Rockets are getting killed, it looks like, by the Lakers, but we also don't have anybody playing, so there's that.
Hey, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna come back in.
Okay. So, for those who are listening still, while Jesus makes his way out and tries to fix his internet, I will go ahead and plug my show, the Red Glare Podcast. I am from Houston. I love the Houston Rockets. That's the name of the Red Glare Podcast, the name. If you don't know, when you come to a Houston Rockets game and you do the national anthem, when they say in the Rockets Red Glare, everybody cheers. So that's why the name of that. But with that being said, we are also covering the NBA playoffs. A lot of great NBA playoff matchups coming soon. Me and my friend Paul, you can find him at Black McLaren on Twitter, at PL Trinidad on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Check him out there. He's got some great music on Spotify as well. But we're gonna be talking all things basketball, football, baseball, but we kind of center around baseball and basketball. And with the playoffs coming, we did our playoff brackets that are not set completely because we don't know the entire what am I trying to say, bracket. We don't know. It's not locked in yet. So we kind of did like a pre-bracket. And and we both had the same champions, different teams playing in the finals, but the same champions. So I have the Suns playing up against the Sixers, and the Sixers pulling out the win. He has the Clippers playing against the Sixers, and he has the Sixers also winning. So make sure you check that out. Next week we will be doing a full-on breakdown of the bracket and doing our probably our final bracket prediction. We'll see if by the end of it I still have the Sixers winning. But so far they're my favorite to win the NBA Finals. So, go there on Mondays and check us out there, and you can give your bracket pick of who you think is going to win and why I'm crazy for having the Suns in the finals. So, there's that. All right, man. How is it? A little bit better? He's still kind of frozen on my end.
That's not crazy.
You're frozen,
man.
Yeah. Still messing up. Have you turned off your Wi-Fi on like your phone and stuff? Because that's what I do.
My phone is turned off. Everything's turned off. The kids' stuff's turned off. Nobody's on Wi-Fi now but me.
It might just be the weather then outside.
Like I have right now. Talking earlier, I had five one bar on the Wi-Fi right now. Damn. There it goes. I got 4 bars now.
All right. Well, we'll see how it lasts. Yeah, I can hear you. Your picture's frozen, but I can't hear you.
Better? Worse?
A little bit.
There
picture's still frozen.
There it goes. Yeah, you're frozen. There you go. Better? No?
A little bit. It's getting there. It's still choppy. Damn, man. Doing this remotely sucks. I don't know how they're able to do it on like ESPN and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they got to be direct connected to it, man. And I can't direct connect right now.
I know. It's the worst. It's better now. So I don't know if we can try and make some headway. Yeah, but you heard my playoff predictions.
Yeah, let's try, man.
All right. I'm wondering. Suns Sixers, man. The Sixers is a team that if you told me 6 years ago or 5 years ago or 3 years ago that I was going to pick the Sixers in the finals, I would have punched future me in the face. Like I never believed in them. But, dude, I don't know. It's the Doc Rivers thing. I think he told Ben Simmons, stop worrying about shooting, play your game, do what got you here, and it's showing on the defensive end at least. So I think so. Damn, man, this sucks.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's not working.
Whoa.
There's 2 of you. That's better.
Yeah. Right now, I keep doing the speed test, and I'm at 50 megabits per second, so it's faster now. And when I was at like 12 or 11 earlier, but now, I mean, it's falling off right now too.
Damn, I wasn't. Oh, so I just realized your phone's probably off. I forgot. But if you want to, if this doesn't work, we can try Locker Room to just kind of end it. Maybe it'll be a little easier to stream on your phone. Like not stream, but it'll just with it just being audio, maybe it'll work a little better. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah,
let's
right
go ahead
now,
and try and push through this.
Yeah, right now I'm at 40, so I'm good right now.
All right, let me just pull up the UFC the card again.
All right.
Sorry, I had exited out. But anything else you wanted to kind of go? You wanted to cover in the Gillespie fight?
No,
Or was
man,
that kind of it? Yeah.
just the interview and how he said that he was questioning himself because he hadn't been in there so long. I think it was going on 2 years now that he hadn't been in the octagon. So these guys, we see them fighting, and they have a lot of stuff going on, including doubting themselves too. So I thought that was pretty interesting that we got a chance to see that part of a fighter come through, and a good fighter. He's a good fighter. It doesn't happen just to the lower tier fighters or the regional fighters. It happens even at the highest level that they question themselves or they haven't been in there. So I think that goes to show you that ring rust and that mentality does creep in.
All right, the next fight. Oh, sorry. I was actually looking at the rankings. He has jumped. Him and Diego switched spots, so he is at number 12. Above him is Islam Makhachev. I mentioned how like someone was mentioning like make this fight happen. That would be a great fight, but at the same time, what would either guy have to gain from that fight? Because they are literally right underneath each other, unless something like crazy happens where Ferguson makes a big drop, or because if Dariush loses, maybe he'll drop against Ferguson. So something where it's like it would make sense in terms of matchmaking because I think both guys would be intrigued by it. But what does either guy have to gain from that fight?
Agreed, man. I don't know. Just hold off and wait a little bit, man. Let the top of the division shake out a little bit, and then we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next fight. So this is one of the more I had no high hopes for it, but it was extremely boring, and that was Maurice Green and Marcos Rogerio de Lima, and basically de Lima just knew exactly what to do. He laid on top of Maurice Green. Maurice Green doesn't have the wrestling skills or the grappling skills to be able to get up, and it happened each time. We didn't even get to see him really get to work on his feet because of the fact that De Lima took him down immediately. So pretty boring fight. You saw the very late hit that De Lima did on Maurice Green. Pretty dirty. I kind of agree with the commentators. I haven't been agreeing with the commentators lately, but I agree with this one. Whereas, like, if you're going to be drawing back and forth and throw that late hit, why are you going to next round lay on top of him again? You look weak.
It's a punk move, man. And
damn it, right on time.
hey, dude. Hey, you there?
Yeah.
Dude, let's just try to do the locker room or something, dude.
I was just about to message you that. All right, I'll go ahead and get it set up. I got to get my charger because my phone's dying. So I did that, but yeah, I'll set up the room and then we'll get started.
All right, man. My bad, man. I'll try to fix this.
Guys, if you don't have locker room, get locker room. Sign up for it. It's free, and I guess add the MMA group or MMA room, and you should get a notification. So do that. Look out for it, and we'll see you there if you want to. All right, man.
All right, MF.